Good morning.
Welcome to Celebration Circle Live from here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, we're grateful to have you with us, and we want to welcome our dear friends, Angel Santiago, our guest speaker, and Chris Taylor, guest musician.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
So we're going to invite you to join us in our kind of opening song, our Come Celebrate song, and we'll see Chris and Angel back here shortly. Thanks, guys.
Come celebrate, gather together, come celebrate, one by one, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember we are one. Come celebrate, join in a circle, come celebrate, side by side, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember we are one. Celebrate, celebrate, come celebrate, 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 come celebrate, 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 come celebrate, yes, celebrate, celebrate, come celebrate, come celebrate, gather together, come celebrate, side by side, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember our one. We are one. We are one.
Good morning, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We invite you to join us in our invocation, O Great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea. You are inside and all around me. And we'll sing that once for each of the four directions as we physically, if you're able to stand and turn and face the four directions. We'll begin with the east, the land of the rising sun. We'll turn and face to the south, that land of rich warmth and blessings. We'll turn to the west, the land of the setting sun, letting go, and then face into the north, that dark night of the soul, the winter, the cold. And then we'll turn for that divine within each one of us. So won't you, if you're able, join us, stand and face to the east.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around.
Turning to the south.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around.
Turning to the west.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around.
Facing into the north.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around.
Turning within.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around.
Oh, Holy One, Holy Wonder, mystery of all mysteries. We join together. We join with all of creation, with the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the winged ones, the ones that swim and crawl, with the rocks and the trees, the grasses, the mountains, the valleys, the rivers, the seas, the skies, the oceans, the stars, with all of life. We affirm our oneness. We affirm we are one. Together,
We are
one. And once again, we are one. And as we take a breath, as we breathe into this moment, honoring all the moments that have come before, honoring this time of change and transformation, within and without, for this, for so much more, we say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so it is. And now we welcome back Chris Taylor with one of his songs.
All right, everybody. Here's a song I wrote this morning. It's called There's No Going Back to Sleep. And it sounds like this, I think. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Look at this world. We're all taken to the streets. The revolution won't just take place on your screens. Change, 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 change. There's a fire burning inside every heart. The oppressed rise up, make no doubt they'll be heard. Oh, change, 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 change. Too many people think black lives are cheap. A brother, sister, there's no going back to sleep. Too many people are led around like sheep. Open up your eyes, wake up, 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 wake up. I saw a man die with a knee upon his neck. An image and a feeling that I never will forget. Oh, change, 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 change. There's an outrage that cannot be contained. Behind every senseless death, there's a blood-stained name of change. Change, change, change. Too many people think black lives are cheap. A brother and sister, there's no going back to sleep. Too many people are led around like sheep. Open up your eyes, wake up, 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 wake up.
Thank you, Chris. What a great song. And this morning, wow. The poem today is by poet Jane Hirschfield, and the title is A Room. A room does not turn its back on grief. Anger does not excite it. Before desire, it neither responds nor draws back in fear. Without changing expression, it takes and gives back. Not a tuft in the mattress alters. Windowsills evenly welcome both heat and cold. Radiators speak or fall silent as they must. Doors are not equivocal. Floorboards do not hesitate or startle. Impatience does not stir curtains. A bed is neither irritable nor rapacious. Whatever disquiet we sense in a room, we have brought there. Whatever disquiet we sense in a room, we have brought there. And so I instruct my ribs each morning, pointing to hinge and plaster and wood. You are matter as they are. See how perfectly it can be done. Hold one more day what is asked. Hold one more day what is asked. Now we welcome back Chris Taylor with another song. Oh, sorry, hold on. We're going to do a communion breath together before Chris comes back.
As we hold that which is to be held, the change, the COVID-19, the disquiet in the world, as well as our love, our joy, our pleasure, all held together in our communion breath.
And as we breathe in together, we allow each inhale to fill us with love and hope and gratitude. And as we exhale, we release and let go of anything that no longer serves us. We let go of the past. We allow the breath to bring us to the present moment. So we'll breathe in on the count of 1 and exhale on the count of 2, and then a few more times on your own. So together, deep breath in, filling the belly, the lungs. And on 2, exhaling. And inhaling. And exhaling. And as we breathe together, we remember that we are one. Truly, we are one, breathing this same breath. And for this, we are grateful. And now we welcome Chris Taylor.
All right. This is another song I wrote this morning, and I hope this delivery system is working out okay as far as the technology aspect of it. But it's called Change Agent. I wrote it specifically for today and what we're all talking about. So it goes like this. It goes.
You're the inside man with a job to do. Heart, body, and mind, they're dependent on you. You're a change agent from the inside out. Got to have a clear vision. Gotta ask tough questions. Gotta make initiation in every way, shape, and form. You're a change agent from the inside out. You got to find the real passion deep inside of you. Analyze yourself in everything that you do. Make a change. Change comes slow. Adapt, repeat, repeat, adapt and grow. Grow, grow, grow. You're the inside man with a job to do. Heart, body, and mind, they're all depending on you. You're a change agent from the inside out. Yeah, you got to find the real passion deep inside of you. Analyze yourself in everything that you do. Make a change. Change comes slow. Adapt, repeat, repeat, adapt and grow. Grow, grow, grow. Grow, grow, grow.
That's wonderful.
Wow.
Chris Taylor, what a wonderfully topical songwriter you are. And I can think of no better introduction for our guest speaker, longtime Circle member, change agent par excellence himself,
Spiritual leadership trainer.
Santiago. Mr. Santiago is truly an angel in our midst and one who is bringing and helping foster change in many people as a life coach, as a corporate consultant, as a speaker, and mostly as a man with a big heart and a deep thinking mind. Please welcome Angel Santiago.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's so good to be back at Celebration Circle, even if it's virtually. At least it's a way to connect and a way to continue to do what we do for ourselves and for our community and for the world. So thank you so much, Chris. What a great song, like so fitting. And as soon as you started singing, I was just like, yes, because when I read to you, you know, what I find as the definition for being a change agent, and he said it in the song. It's a person who is transforming himself or herself from the inside out. So again, it's a person who's transforming himself or herself from the inside out. And how did I come up with this name for the talk? You know, 'cause Zette invited me to speak, and she was like, Angel, we need a title. What's your talk about? What's your description? And I was like, let me sit with that, and I'll get back to you. And my uncle, who's always been he's been part of my journey from the moment my spiritual journey started. I mean, he's been part of my journey of life, but I would say as a spiritual guide of sort, he's been part of my journey since 2012. And I just recently went through a huge moment of change, and he sent this to me, and I want to read it to you verbatim because I don't want to mess it up. He sends me this picture from this book that he's reading, and he says, "You're ultimately your own agent. You make the hard calls and you live with the consequences. Instead of expecting smooth sailing and getting frustrated, you're better off trusting your own ability to navigate. That's hard. When things don't go your way, it's natural to feel uncertain about your next step. It's natural to focus on what's wrong and take good things for granted. But if you enjoy being your own agent, you can feel good even in choppy seas." And I really, really connected with that. And as soon as I got it, I texted Zed. I was like, being your own change agent. That's what the talk is about. And how do we do that in our personal lives? Number one, I don't know about you, and I know that the storm metaphor and analogy is used so often for when we're going through something difficult. This too shall pass. And I was watching, like usually, I watch a lot of shows, and I learn a lot from them, particularly with this, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, like this cartoons that have so much wisdom from the East. Now I'm watching a show called The Dragon Prince, and I learned so much from those things, and they're so fitting because they usually have something to teach me about what I'm going through in the moment. And there's a scene where they're sailing the seas with this blind captain. And he of course, all his other senses are engaged, and he can actually sail just fine. But he was telling the characters in the show that there was a storm coming, and that I'd be better off if we just kind of waited out before we set sail. And then the character said, we really don't have time to wait it out. We really need to get through this. Can we leave now so we can beat the storm? So the captain agrees, and they didn't beat the storm. The storm got to be so bad that they had to pull over and dock and just wait it out. And so I just started thinking about that. And I was like, there's storms where you could do just that. You could say, you know what, I'm going to wait this one out. Or there's storms that maybe you have begun sailing and you say, I think I'm going to pull over, or I'm going to avoid this storm. And again, thy will be done. You have free will to do what you need to do. And no judgment on that. If you feel like, you know what, I'm going to wait this out, or I'm going to sit aside for this one. But then there are those storms where there's something within you that says, like Chris was saying, that inside man or woman tells you, you have to go through that storm. You have to go through that storm, because the person that's going to come out on the other side after you navigate through that storm, it's not the same person anymore. It's a stronger, more powerful, more connected, more loving, more empowered, fearless perhaps, that's going to come out on the other side of that storm. And so what do I mean by that, right? Life, whether you see life as you being a human being, looking for moments of spiritual connection or moments of spiritual awakening, or whether you see life as your spiritual being having a temporary human awakening and having human connections, it makes a big difference how you see it. But if you see it as we're spiritual beings having a temporary human awakening, then you know that this body is a vessel, right? Sailing through the sea of life. And so then our experiences are also vessels. And I've said this before, but it's worth repeating, that our experiences are bringing us truth. They're bringing us teachings, experiences, moments, things that we need to see about ourselves so that we can become fully realized in our truth. Not that we're going to become this new thing, is realizing who we really are. And so as we go through these experiences, and we as difficult as they may be, as fearful as they may be, we have to have a willingness. And I think that's the key. It's having that willingness to, again, go through that experience, go through that storm, and come out on the other side better. And it's a willingness to face your fear, face your challenge, face your obstacle. And I'd like to read to you really quick a definition of obstacles that I just recently found. And it's from a book I'm reading it. And it says, there are those of us that face obstacles and challenges along our path with fear and doubt. And we may even consider them our enemies, when in truth, they are our friends. They are our helpers. These obstacles and challenges, they're necessary for your success, because victory only comes after many struggles and after countless defeats. Each struggle, each defeat sharpens your skills and strengths, your courage and your endurance, your ability and your confidence. And you must understand that each obstacle, that each challenge is your comrade in arms, forcing you to become better or to quit. Each challenge, each obstacle provides an opportunity to move forward. If you turn away from them, if you avoid them, you just may be throwing away your future. And so I want to invite you with this talk is to see your challenges that way, to see your obstacles as these little opportunities, these little helpers, these little guides that are going to help you get to the success that you want to eventually get to. And that if you find yourself in a difficult situation right now, in a challenging situation, or in one of those obstacles, or in one of those storms, and there's fear there, let it be there. You know, a lot of times we say, get past the fear, move the fear aside. You know what? No, it's okay. You need to honor where you are. Like Zed and Rudy led us this morning to that breath and bring us to this present moment, right? Well, if you're in fear, then you're in fear. If you haven't grown into the person that can overcome that fear yet, then so be it. Then you haven't gotten to that place yet. You just keep going. You keep having that faith and trust that you just walked into. You may be in a possible storm, but maybe you chose it. Maybe you chose to go in the storm because something in you, that inside man or woman, knew you got to go through this. Because the person that's going to come out on the other side after you navigate the storm is going to be far better than the person that went in it. You're going to have so much growth. You're going to have that transformation. Like Chris was saying, you're going to grow, grow, grow. And I want to read to you a little bit from this little metaphor that I got about life, right? From this cartoon show that I'm watching called The Dragon Prince. It says, if life is a river, then you can't see that far ahead. Right where you are, you can't really see that far ahead. You can't really see, or you don't really know where the river will bend and where the river will turn. You don't really know where the river will go at all. So don't try to control where the river is going to go. Control yourself. Know yourself. Know who you are and what you stand for and where you're going and who you want to be. And as long as you're clear about that, it really doesn't matter where the river takes you, because you're always right where you need to be. You're always right where you need to be. And that was actually the blind captain was saying that to one of the characters who was going through her own little turmoil. And so it's so true. So much we want to control the circumstances. We want to control the outcomes. And I was watching an episode on Gaia TV about global transformation. And the speaker was saying that from 2012 to 2018, that 2012 timeframe where the media tried to make it sound like it was the end of the world. In reality, it was just the end of a cycle, and we were entering another cycle in the universe and in the cycle of life, right? And from 2012 to 2018, we did a download of divine information into the body. And whether you were conscious of it or not, it was happening. So then the body says, it was kind of like you download all this light into the body, and the body says, okay, that's great, but what do I do with all this darkness now? Like, it has to go somewhere, right? And so 2018 marked or started a 2-year cycle of releasing that darkness. It has to go somewhere, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's going to be emotional, and it's going to be scary, and it's going to be ugly, because it's got to go. We don't need that anymore, right? And so when it comes to facing the shadow, facing the darkness, facing that cave, facing that fear, facing that challenge, you don't do it without the fear. You do it with the fear. You hold that fear's hand and you say, we're going in there, and we're going to take care of this. We're going to tackle this together. So you bring fear with you and you hold them by the hand. And I know that there's a lot going on in the world right now, and you may feel heavy and you may feel sad, and you may want to feel compelled to want to do something. So what I want to invite you is just do something for yourself. You must first bring peace and balance to yourself before you can bring peace and balance to the rest of the world. You're no good to anyone or anything or any cause if you are not well yourself. Whatever you're not willing to do for yourself, you can't do for the rest of the world. And so I want to invite you to jot these questions down. These are questions that if you can find the answer and you can begin to kind of tackle some of these things, you will be acting as your own change agent. So the first question is, what are you afraid of? And again, you may take a journal, you may take a piece of paper and just kind of jot it down. I had a theory that said that, let's say you have 5 fears. 5 fears, 6, 3, whatever that is, whatever the number is for you. What's your whale of a fear? What is your biggest fear? What's the thing that scares you the most? If you go after that one and you surpass it, if you transcend it, transmute it, if you overcome it, all the rest of them fall off, because fear is fear. So if you take care of the biggest one, the other ones seem very little in comparison. So again, what are you afraid of? Write it down, and then I invite you to pick the one that scares you the most and begin to a process or a journey. Be willing to go into that storm. The next question is, what do you need to forgive yourself for? What do you need to forgive yourself for? Again, make a list. It may be one thing. It doesn't matter how big the list is. And then take the journey of working through that. What are you ashamed of? What are you ashamed of? What part of you are you denying? What are you ashamed of? What are you grieving for? What are you grieving for? And again, I'm seeing some of the comments. Number 2 is a heavy one. Yes, probably all of this will be very heavy. My invitation to you is approach it the same way you approach meditation, without judgment, neutral, and without an expectation of an outcome, without thinking about how am I going to get that done. Don't even worry about any of that. That's not where we are. Don't look at the whole staircase. Just look at the very next step, the very first step. And it's just writing this stuff down, doing an assessment, right? So don't worry about how you're going to get it done. Let's just write it down. The first step is identification. Then we can work on this identification. So the first step. So I was on question 3. What are you ashamed of? And then question 4, what are you grieving for? What are you grieving for? The 5th question is, what lies are you telling yourself? We're experts about justifying things and rationalizing things. So what lies are you telling yourself? Is there a truth that you need to accept that you haven't? So lies and accepting truth kind of go hand in hand. The next question is, what attachments do you have? What attachments do you have, and are you willing to let them go? And this is always confusing because we think that we have to physically let go of someone or something, and that may be the case. But it could also be letting them go here, and the concept that you have for them, the expectations that you have of them, of who you want them to be for you, or what you want the situation to be for you. So it may be something physical that you may have to let go, but it could also be the attachment, the grasping of that thing, right? Maybe letting that go. And the last one, and this is going to be an ongoing journey, is knowing and trusting the oneness of it all. Taking those moments to connect with the oneness, with letting go of the illusion of separation. Okay, and that's going to be an ongoing thing. So again, just to quickly review, what are you afraid of? What do you need to forgive yourself for? What are you ashamed of? What are you grieving for? What lies are you telling yourself, or what truth are you not accepting? What attachments do you have, and are you willing to let them go? And then know and trust the oneness of it all. Let go of that illusion of separation. And listen, if you're going through something difficult right now, again, I just want to invite you to challenge it, to be willing to go through it. Don't judge yourself if you can't do it right now. Don't judge yourself if you can't overcome it. Just keep showing up. Keep showing up, because each time it's not the same person that shows up to face it. It's a newer one, and a reborn perhaps, and maybe a transformed one, and maybe a little bit stronger person. Just keep showing up to it. And also, don't be afraid to do a 180 or a shift to the left or a pivot to the right, even if you feel that something is like, oh man, but I'm all in on this. I've already been so committed here, or I'm kind of already 2 years into this decision, or everything's been set, or everything's ready to go. Like, don't be afraid to change directions. If something in you is telling you, again, that change agent, that inside man or woman is telling you, this is no longer serving me. This is done. I feel it. So no matter how all in you are, you can always turn back. You can always turn left. You can always turn right. And I just want to let you know that there's no amount of comfort and certainty that is worth you staying in a situation that no longer serves you. Don't care how afraid you are. Just know that if you're in it, it's serving a purpose and it's for your highest good. And I would like to end this talk with my favorite and all-time favorite affirmation, which says, all is well in my world. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe. All is well in my world. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe. And please write that down. Reach out to me if you need me to send it to you again, because I have unwavering faith about that. I know that no matter how difficult the journey gets, that it is happening for my highest good, that it's going to grow me, that it's going to transform me, and that I am safe. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for showing up, for being here. I hope you can take something from here. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I love you, and I send you blessings and light for your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you all for being here with us. For those of you who are back, I'm going to take a moment to go within, to focus on ourselves, our breath, our change. So won't you just take a quiet breath or two your heart, your mind to open. Allow yourself, your body to relax. Feel this free flow of spirit of love moving through you right now. Allow this affirmation. I am safe. All is well. To filter in and through every cell and fiber of your being. And as we sometimes feel this separation, in this moment I invite you to rest and relax and release any illusion that you are separate from Source, from the divine, from love, from perfection. That you know that you are perfect, whole, and complete just as you are. Filled with divine love. This is who you are and who you have always been. One with the Holy One, one with the divine, one with all of life. And won't you take this moment to feel this fullness of spirit flowing in and through the room that you are sitting in, the chair that you are sitting in, the floor that you are upon, the body that you inhabit. See with the eyes of your heart, with renewed clarity, that you are connected to the all and the everything. You may be reminded, as the monkey mind does, of the obstacles and the challenges. As we remember those who have suffered, those who are living in turmoil, as we honor and acknowledge the pain and the sadness that exists in our world right now. But we also breathe into love, into the heart, into the potential for goodness in everything. We feel this newness of energy infecting and affecting everything and everyone around us with hope, love, and faith. And with a breath, won't you feel the truth of this as you rest in the silence now? And And now, and now. And from this place of peace, of power, of remembering, won't you send your love out into the world? Send your love as a blessing, as you have been blessed. Seeing others as you have been seen, as divine sparks of the sacred, perfect, whole, and complete, open and willing to perceive and receive this truth of our oneness today and tomorrow and all of our tomorrows. And so it is.
Please give thanks. In all things give thanks. 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 In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. 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 In all things give thanks. Give thanks for the gifts of life. The one light shines through all of creation, with hands and hearts overflowing. We lift our voices in celebration. In all things give thanks. Thanks, thanks. In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks.
And so we, holding our love offerings in our hands and in our hearts, we lift them up, we offer them with the blessing, I give to you, O Spirit, as you have given to me, with heart wide open. Together, I give to you, O Spirit, as you have given to me, with heart wide open. So this is an opportunity for you to take a moment to give back to the celebration circle, so that we can continue to offer this virtual experience with all its bumps and challenges. And consider that as an opportunity for you to do your part, to keep love, to keep oneness out here, out in our world, sharing it. So thank you for that. When we lift up the offerings, we lift up the names and situations in the prayer on the prayer list, knowing that all is well and all shall be well in all manner of things. And so it is. And now we're going to bring back Chris, we hope. I'm going to have to do a little refresh here for a moment, and I think we'll get him back.
All right. Very, very good. Okay, I think I'm live. I hope I'm live. I know I'm alive, so that's a good thing. Okay, so I have one more song for you guys, and this is a song called "Weapon of Love." And I'm one of those people that believe that inside each and every one of us, we have a secret weapon. And I believe that weapon is love, and not just the sort of the esoteric or hippie version of love, but I think in each of us, we have our own practical way of showing others love. And so if we're fighting against anger or fear or depression, or insert whatever it is you're fighting that's colliding with what's going on inside of your heart, this song kind of says, pull the trigger on your weapon of love. In other words, make a decision, make a choice, love over anger, love over fear. All right, let me sing it for you. It's called Weapon of Love. It goes like this. Turn on the news, can't fight the blues, no common sense anymore. I'm filled with anger, I'm filled with fear, I got my back to the door. Tidal waves, crashing waves of politics coming down. What are you gonna do? Float on love, hate, and drown. Pull the trigger on your weapon of love. Pull the trigger on your weapon of love. The weapon of love. Fight against a fearful soul with punk and rock and roll. Guitar sing, guitar sting. I like it when it's out of control. I turn my anger into love, some kind of raging love. Can't fight hate with more hate. Oh, what are you thinking of? Pull the trigger on your weapon of love. Pull the trigger on your weapon of love. Here she come walking down the street. Hear the tower bells chime to the sound of her feet. Here she come walking down the street. Hear the tower bells chime to the sound of her feet. She got a weapon of love in her heart. In her heart, a secret weapon of love. Pull the trigger on your weapon of love. Pull the trigger on your weapon of love. Your weapon of love. Your weapon of love. There you go.
We're going to have to get together. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing your weapon of love. Thank you, Angel, for sharing your guidance on the process of change. And thank you, those of you who stayed with us throughout this process of dealing with the technological changes and bumps. And as we feel all there is to feel in these times of drastic and radical change, we know there is one presence, one power, which is unchanging, and that's the power of love. So won't you join us in a closing circle?
As we hold hands up to each other together, we sing, love is the only power.
Love is the only love is the only way. Love, 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 love. Watch our circle grow. Love is the only power. Love is the only way. Love, 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 love. Watch our circle grow. Go in peace. Grow in peace.
And
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Blessings, and we will see you next Sunday right here on Facebook Live at 11 a.m. Central Time. See you then.